Hello, hello. How is everybody doing on this fine Monday? Chapter 1062. Adventure in the Land of Science. Hopefully it is actually an adventure, and we actually see some of it. Alright, so what's going on here? An emotionless excursion, meanwhile in Chocolate Town, Cacao Islands. What is going on here? Why is everything sort of melting? And why are there... What? No, it's frozen. Because this is supposed to be a waterfall, right? Right? And it's sort of frozen. Well, that's certainly interesting. The cover this week has so many potential for discussion. Yeah, it does. If it is frozen, then Aokiji? That's the only person we know with a freezing power. Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, there's not much to go off of, right? It's just one panel, and who knows? Maybe it's not actually freezing, maybe it's something else entirely, and it's just hard to tell. Because what would he be doing there? Very curious. Very curious indeed. Alright, let's move on. Vegapunk? You mean the Vegapunk? Oh, put a sock in it? Okay, here we go. Yes, this is exactly what I expected. Frankie is excited. I spent 2 years at your lab. Okay, yeah, this is basically exactly what I expected in terms of their reactions. Wait, I've never heard Vegapunk was a woman, and her appearance doesn't add up based on Vegapunk's long history of activity. Exactly. This is what we expected. Of course it doesn't. I'm obviously not the Stella. That's the main body. I'm Punk 02, Vegapunk, Lilith the Evil. Well then, Lilith, you say. Lilith, you say. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that a curious word to choose? Number 1, Ava flashbacks. Number 2, I need to look up all the other names. What were all the names? I'll do it later. But okay. Because Lilith is like one of the 7 or whatever, right? Very interesting. We'll look at that later. But I mean, this is exactly what we expected. Obviously, this is not Vegapunk. We'll see whether or not Vegapunk does have a actual body at this point, though. And my research budget is constantly stretched to the seams, so hand over your valuables. After that, I'm done with you. Low-key pulling a pirate move. Well, okay. The Sea Beast weapons. What do we have here? Is that a giraffe? What the hell is this? It's a giraffe. It's a reindeer. It's a wolf. It's like a bulldog? This is wild. I have a feeling that this arc is going to be very creative in the things we see. Sea Beast weapons, they're incredible. This time the fear's winning out. Brilliant. Zoro's high-key sketch. Lilith, what do you think you're doing? Plundering again? Have you no scientist's pride? Okay. They are not going to surrender. That's the crew of the Straw Hat. The one who just got made Emperor of the Sea. You've underestimated them. Look at the swordsman on board. Okay. Okay. As expected, Vegapunk is well aware of the old Straw Boys. That's Pirate Hunter Zoro, worth a bounty of 1.111 billion berries. I love how Oda has arc names like Water 7 and Thriller Bark in his story, but now we also got ones like Whole Cake Island and Egghead. At this point, the islands could be named absolutely whatever, and I'd just be like, let's roll with it, let's roll with it. Question is, right, this is something I've been doing, because I feel like every arc that is post-Timeskip is evocative of an arc pre-Timeskip, right? So I wonder whether we're going to see some of that trend continued here. Wano is probably the outlier, right? Because I feel like I'd have a hard time pulling Wano and something pre-Timeskip together. That's fine, bring them here. I happen to have an interest in that crew. Punk 01, Dr. Vegapunk. Okay. So, by the looks of it, there is an actual body. So we're jumping over to Luffy's squad. You said you've been here before? When I was a kid, it was a normal lab back then. It's interesting that the island looks sort of tropical, right? Alright, let's not get ahead. Depending on his answer, Vegapunk will have to die for his crimes. Vegapunk turned my father into a cyborg. Well then. He's been turned into a pure, unthinking, living weapon. Well then. Isn't that interesting? So Kuma is Bonnie's father. Thing is, she never mentions who she's talking about, right? So is this going to be another case of Luffy finally finding out that she was talking about Kuma in like 100 chapters and being like, oh, you were talking about Kuma. Yeah, we know him. We know him. I mean, I've been talking about this a lot, right? But I'm like 99.9% sure that Vegapunk will turn out to be a good guy, and he'll most likely turn out to be a revolutionary. Something along those lines, right? So I wonder how Bonnie is going to play into this. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. We're on the surface again. Let's go and find some food. I met Sabo and Marie Jois. What? Why do characters do this? Why do characters do this? I don't need to bring that up now. What do you mean you don't need to bring that up now? You should bring that up now. Okay, whatever. What is this place? A giant robot? Everything is flying? A space monster? Well, this island is certainly interesting. Luffy got eaten. So this is basically Punk Hazard 2.0. Oh no, wait, what? He flew through it? Oh, it's a hologram, right? Now hold on just a minute, no one's just going to leave out delicious treats for you. It's clearly some kind of trap. Yep, they fell through it. So all of this are just holograms. Why would he just have a whole bunch of holograms? Is it just a MTV Cribs type vibe? He just makes the place look cool. And that's all he needs. Alright. Did we die at some point? No, we're not ghosts. This parfait is a hologram, I think. I've never seen one in person. Okay, this is something I love, right? This is something I love. I like that they're starting to just use Gear 5 Luffy as a comedic relief type deal in the background. We've seen this a few times now, and I love it. I love it. The giant robot is probably the same. No one could actually make such a thing. I mean, that's a lie. We have clearly seen giant robots. I just noticed something. The sea was cold here, and yes. Actually, yes. This is what I just said, right? Because it was sort of... It seemed like a winter island, but it's a tropical island. Which is sad, by the way. I really, 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 really wanted to have a snow island. This is a tropical place, although it is indeed a winter island. What the hell is this? Thanks to the island AC I created. Alright, can we get some of this island AC over here, please? Thank you. We can control the temperature of the island itself. That thing's as big as Kaido. Wait, I like how Luffy just goes to punch it to see if it's a hologram too. Dude's actually works up. And he gets annihilated. Brilliant. Brilliant. It pops out a hamburger meal with drink and fries. Who made these? You can touch them. They're real. What is this? What is this chapter? What is this chapter? Steak, omelet, rice, fried pork. So everybody's just chowing down on food. Is this like Vegapunk's first time where somebody's actually just appreciating his research? Is that why he's just like, yeah, you know what, these guys are actually cool? As long as there's enough food material, it can provide 500 different meals to the user, each in under a minute. Well then, Sanji is yet again being replaced. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. Alright. The whip-up leftovers mode is the best part, but only if you make it exactly to the plans. There aren't enough technicians to mass produce them though. I love this so much. I love how wild this is. This is something I feel like we haven't gotten a lot in post-Timeskip. The fact that we are just entering this island and it's just completely all over the place wackiness. I love that. I love that so much. Wait, hold on. Vegapunk's interacting with the hologram? How does that work? Same thing with the island AC. Controlling the temps means being able to sense the life patterns of every living thing on the island. Oh yeah, they're talking about it too. It punched the hologram. That's right, with these light pressure gloves, you can do more than just observe the lights. Is this nerfing Kizaru? Is this literally just trying to nerf Kizaru? Have a feeling that it might be. I mean, the world government appreciates their work, but seems like this is the first time someone else appreciates it. I feel like, for a scientist, right? With the world government, I feel like they appreciate it because it's just good for them, right? It's just for their selfish gains. Whereas with Luffy, dude's just fascinated by it. And for a scientist, I feel like that's why he likes it so much. He's just like, I actually made something fun. That's not designed for killing people. Whether it's real or not is for you to decide. If you ask me, those words are a relic of a bygone age. I am nothing but a humble genius scientist for hire. Dr. Vegapunk. Punk Atlas. Yeah, so it is the naming scheme, right? Atlas, Lilith. Alright, the new world. Sum it up for me. What are we doing? Oh yeah, it's these guys. Great. Have I talked about them on stream before? I don't think I have. I make this joke a lot. But, CP0 is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, right? Each and every one of them took huge L's, but somehow got promoted. Can I do that? Can I just get wiped out by rookies, but still get a promotion? Anyway, alright, Lucci, listen up. There's only one Vegapunk. But he's such a genius, he doesn't have enough time to do everything himself. So he thought, why not make mini hands? He split himself into 6 different people. Oh yeah, there we go. This is the naming scheme. Exactly. In other words, these 6 satellites are all Dr. Vegapunk. Okay, so we have Shaka the Good, Lilith Evil, Edison the Thinker. So wait, hold on. Which one was this? This is Atlas. I wonder whether or not... Like, how explicit are those traits? Because obviously we ran into Lilith, right? And that's evil. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe it's just for the whole plundering thing. So they're going after him, right? Okay. And then eliminate all the Vegapunks and be careful with his lab, it's full of valuable things. They want to eliminate the most useful man in the world. And does this have to do with anything that happened in Lelucia the other day? Okay. Very, 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 very curious. So, Vegapunk has a particular interest in Luffy. CP0 is being dispatched to get rid of Vegapunk. I have a feeling I'm going to be dunking on the 5 Elders again. Because did they seriously dispatch a weapon made by Vegapunk to go after Vegapunk? Like, imagine making something as deadly as the Seraphims, or Seraphims, and not trying to make sure that they don't wipe you out as well. I mean, yeah, this is very fishy. And are we actually going to see Luffy versus Lucci again? Because they are obviously headed right there, right? Or maybe Lucci is actually grown a little bit smarter and he's not going to try to take him on face to face. Who knows? But this seems very silly. This seems very, very silly to me. The fact that they are dispatching the Kuma Seraphim to go after Vegapunk seems like a silly decision. I can't see how that's going to work out for them. And the fact that Bonnie is in all of this too. Oh, there's so many moving pieces. And Bonnie refers to Sabo, right? She referred to Sabo a second ago. At least in my mind, I read it as they're well acquainted, right? She just calls him, yeah, I ran into Sabo, and that's it. And the fact that Vegapunk himself is Shaka the Good, that's also very interesting. Or, wait, no, hold on. That's not Vegapunk himself, right? Because Vegapunk himself doesn't necessarily even exist. This is a very, very interesting chapter. Not because of all the mysteries, but just because of how wild it is. Honestly, I love it just for the absurdity of us entering this new land alone. As far as predictions go, I'll be honest, I have literally no idea. And especially like with Vegapunk, right? How much of his perception? This is something I'm asking right now, right? Is Vegapunk going to deliberately bring the two halves of Luffy's crew together right now? Or is something else going on, right? Because he obviously knows about the both of them. And by the looks of it, he runs the entire island essentially by himself. So it's not like they're going to run into anyone else, are they? I feel like deception could play a very big role here too, right? Because I mean, it feels very deliberate that we get this large exposition shot of so many things, none of which are actually real. It feels like deception as a theme is being set up here. So maybe that's how he's going to deal with CP0? I'm guessing that if Bonney actually sees the Seraphim Kuma, things won't end well. And another thing, why does he keep referring to himself as a scientist for hire? It's not just scientist, it's specifically scientist for hire. Seems like a weird detail to mention if it wouldn't be important, right? Aside from the questions, though, it's just a fun chapter, and we needed that. We really needed that. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, Luffy smashing into a food production machine and then just chowing down? That's top tier One Piece material. Frankie's going to probably, like, Frankie's squad is going to get brought in. Maybe there's going to be a bit of a silly scene about how Frankie blew up the island, and then Vegapunk's going to be like, I heard about that, and then bonk him over the head or something. Something like that. Are we going to get right into Devil Fruit lore? I really don't know. I really don't know. So, do we get an inkling of how far they are? The world government, I mean. Because if they function as a chasing force, like at the very end of the arc, then I can see that. This was sort of a light chapter, but also a very packed chapter at the same time. So because of that, let's keep up the tradition. The rating for the chapter is a very respectable 7 out of 10. Mostly fun, some reveals, curious to see more, don't understand anything. That's the review. Ship it. The biggest question for me is what's up with CP0. That's like what throws a wrench in this entire thing. Guessing how much we would actually see, like in terms of their personalities, if you will. Because maybe the fact that we haven't seen Edison yet, Edison might be the big lore dump. So maybe once we get to Edison, that's when we're going to start getting the big lore drops. But yes, thank you for joining me, and I will see you whenever I see you, probably on Wednesday with a new video. Have a wonderful start of your week, and I will see you whenever I see you. Bye-bye.